Welcome to Infinity and Beyond, a podcast that takes a look back at the works of Pixar animation before moving onward to their newest films. Today we're taking a trip to P. Sherman 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney, with two of everyone's favorite fish as they try to locate Marlin Jr.
Very good intro, if I do say so myself.
Thank you. We finally have one.
Indeed. Now, let us discuss this film. This
Yes, finally.
underwater epic.
Yep. The best underwater movie since Aquaman.
What a story, Mark.
Okay, well, good to be back. Good to be doing this. I'm Daniel. That's Jaron.
Yeah, it is.
I got you covered.
Good. All right, so we're going to discuss Finding Nemo. And I do suppose we should begin with the story.
Yeah. So, wait, are we actually on topic? That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the story of this film, basically, Marlin is a clownfish who lost his wife and most of his young children at a very early time in their lives. They were eggs.
Eggs, indeed.
But one survived, and that becomes Nemo, titular character of the movie. And Nemo and his dad don't really see eye to eye because Marlin becomes very overprotective of his son. And so, very reluctant to let him go to school, but he finally does. And first day at school, Nemo gets kidnapped.
Every parent's worst nightmare.
Ocean school is even more dangerous than schools in America, apparently.
Oof.
Oof. So Nemo is kidnapped. Marlin decides he's going to cross the entire ocean to find him, if necessary.
He's a good dad.
Good dad. And he teams up with Dory, the blue tang with short-term memory problems. And he teams up with Dory, the blue tang with short-term memory problems. I had to do it.
You went there.
Yeah. So they go on an epic across the ocean to Sydney, Australia, where Nemo is being held at a dentist office. Nemo befriends a lot of the fish in his tank there. They plan to escape before he's given away to Darla. Insert horror sound effects here.
The psycho theme.
Yep. And so that's the basic plot of this movie. This is the first time, well, not the first time, but one of the earliest times where Pixar has had two ongoing plots in their movie. The real first would be Toy Story 2, I think.
Yeah, I'd say so.
With Woody on one end and Buzz on the other.
Yeah, during what I called The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, very similar setup, actually, with your main character just kind of being stuck in one location while the rest are on a journey to them.
Yeah, well, the main character encounters a group of eccentric characters.
Yeah, so, well, would you say Nemo's the main character, though? Marlin really is.
Marlin is the main character, for sure. It carries on what we discussed last time about Pixar's recurring theme of fatherhood.
Yeah.
This time, a literal father.
Yeah, their first literal father. And not the last.
Yeah, not at all.
So, I mentioned last week, but this movie, very near and dear to my heart. I watched it on DVD so many times growing up, and it's always a treat to return to. The first Pixar movie for me that I really grew accustomed to, because I missed out on the first four as a kid.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like my mom was never into the Toy Stories. A Bug's Life, came out 1 year after I was born, so I didn't see it in theaters. And then Monsters Inc. I just somehow missed out.
Interesting. I always enjoyed this one. It wasn't as big as Toy Story or Monsters Inc. though, in my mind.
Yeah, I think I had the benefit of, since I didn't have Toy Story to occupy so much brain space, it really was all about Finding Nemo.
Interesting.
Well, Finding Nemo and the next one.
Yes, indeed. We'll get to that next. We'll get to that soon.
Yeah. So, this one was another big leap for Pixar, really.
Water.
So much water.
We went from plastic to crowds to dust and improving on the first, then to fur, and now water.
Yeah. And scales, too, like the fish scales. They did so much work behind the scenes. Finding Nemo was the one that had like a documentary behind it.
Yeah.
And I actually watched that when I was pretty young too, so I learned a lot of the facts about this one.
Oh, there are a lot of great like DVD extras for this film.
Oh yeah, and like I learned like all the crazy stuff they had to do. Like they took dead clownfish and like applied light at different angles at different intensities so they could make sure they got the correct lighting. Like that's how dedicated the animators were for this.
Yeah. It shows. It looks beautiful even today.
Yeah, there was like some of the human designs, not the best. Darla was meant to look creepy always, but
the dentist looks a little off.
every now and again. And there was like one scene. It was the boat driving away when they were like, putting Nemo in the cooler, and it looked like a lower quality render than the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I mean that was the only time where I was really like, yeah, this definitely feels like an animation from 2003. And then the rest was like, wow, this animation is so good.
Yeah, it does really hold up well.
Yeah, I think part of that was just like nailing the water so well. Because they really went with like when they first started, they went with like really realistic water, and they were like,
Yeah.
this is going to be too hard to do. We're going to have to pull back.
Water is notoriously hard to animate for those listening who aren't quite familiar with how animation works.
Yeah. Don't worry, though. They cracked the code by the time that we got around to The Good Dinosaur.
Yeah.
You still haven't seen that movie, have you?
I still have not.
You are in for a treat when we get to that one because the environments are just beautiful.
I've seen clips of it, and honestly, it does not interest me that much.
It's so beautiful, man.
Yeah, okay. I believe you.
Maybe it's just because I saw The Good Dinosaur on the big screen.
The only Pixar film I have never seen.
Oh, so you finally caught Toy Story 4?
Yeah, on
All right.
in a bootleg, sort of.
I still have not seen that one. I really want my first time to see it to be like when I do it for the podcast.
Oh, so you've got a while.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not in any rush. Anyway, back to this movie.
Indeed, we're getting quite ahead of ourselves, several months ahead of ourselves.
Pretty much. So, there's a lot of interesting writing decisions, I thought, for this one.
Yeah, for sure.
One of them being, this is the first prologue, really.
It does. It is, yeah.
Because most of their movies happen pretty much over the course of a couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And this one like starts all the way at the beginning of Nemo's life with Marlin and Coral. Coral is his wife.
Yeah. Yeah, come to think of it, they've all taken place over just a couple of days.
Yeah, and I mean, like this being one of the few exceptions. Like we'll see more prologues later down the line. But
yeah.
This one definitely needed the backstory.
Yes, absolutely.
because like Marlon's overprotectiveness like makes absolute sense when you realize just how much he's lost.
Yeah.
And like that whole prologue goes by like in a couple of minutes. Like it does, it just does such a good job of like establishing a character. Like you feel bad when Coral dies, even though you've known her
Absolutely.
for like a minute. She
Yeah.
was a badass mom though.
Yeah, she was.
She saw like what was it like a razorfish or something?
A big scary thing.
A big scary thing. And her first thought was, "I gotta save my kids."
That's what we call a good mother.
Yeah, it's just a shame it didn't work out all that well. There were
Yeah.
there were 400 eggs. Gosh, that is a lot of baby death. I think
It is.
this is Pixar's highest body count until Coco, because everybody's just dead in Coco.
Yeah. You
I never,
right. You right.
I'm actually kind of hung up on this now because I never really thought about just how many babies Pixar murdered for this film.
That is correct.
But yeah, and then we go right from that to the main title sequence, and I just have to say, like, the music got me, just like
Oh,
instant.
for sure.
I've seen this so many times, and so that main theme carries a lot of emotions for me. I was tearing up at
It's
the
a beautiful
title.
theme.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
the first Pixar film not to be scored by Randy Newman. Coincidentally, it's scored by Thomas Newman, who's actually his cousin.
yeah. And I think Randy Newman's scores were good, but I think he was most memorable for the full-on songs that he composed.
Yeah.
And like Monsters Inc. had some, cool tunes to it, but this is the one where the music first like started sticking for me. And maybe that's
Yeah.
just again because I've seen it for over a decade now. But yeah, especially the main theme just really
Oh,
gets me.
absolutely.
So yeah,
It is. So I guess we go on to the characters, I suppose.
yeah, we need to get to the characters. Uh, so Marlon being the main character, I think it is fair to say that.
He is. We
Yeah,
spend
his
the most time with him.
oh for sure.
He's a nervous, anxious wreck. Justifiable because of what happened.
Yeah, and so he's incredibly overprotective and cautious, and a little bit. Uh, I don't want to say like disrespectful, but you can tell he doesn't really respect Nemo's agency
Yeah,
in the beginning, and that, and again, understandable. He is a father. His son is disabled, and he's already had a lot of trauma about losing family.
at the end of the day, he just wants to protect him.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he needs to learn that he can't, be a watchdog 24/7.
Yeah.
And
You
that does,
think you can do these things, but you can't, Nemo.
yep. Uh, a great line for character building comes back later uh, at a very pivotal moment.
Absolutely.
Um, yeah, Marlon's journey mainly is about, and something this movie really is about is treating people with disabilities with respect. Because, like I was just saying, he doesn't really respect Nemo all that much because he's just too concerned for him. Like the entire trip to school, you see him constantly like moving over to Nemo's lucky fin to help him swim
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And then with Dory especially, he does not respect Dory for the longest time. It's
He
not
just
that he
kind of
doesn't
sees
like
her
her,
as annoying
but
sidekick.
pretty much like he does come around to liking her, but there's still like several moments like with the trench where he's just like, "Ooh, something shiny, go get it,"
Yeah.
just to undercut her decision making because he feels like superior in a way. he feels like he knows what's best, and that
But
means trouble.
he has to learn. Almost every Pixar protagonist has to learn something, or any good protagonist, really. But
Characters learn things.
indeed, if they're in a good movie and they're a good character.
Yeah.
Unless we're talking about, generic animated kids movie protagonist number 5.
Yeah. And like
Does Oscar learn anything?
Oscar learns
Don't lie, because
Oscar learns that working at the car wash, yeah, it's not so bad.
how many times have we referenced Shark Tale at this point?
This is twice. It's appropriate. DreamWorks ripped off Finding Nemo for Shark Tale.
Yeah, a bit less discreet than with Ants, but still, though.
Yeah. Maybe we'll end the discussion with some Shark Tale coverage.
Yeah, because there's no Kingdom Hearts world for Finding Nemo.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But anyway, I think that mostly covers Marlin. Like his big thing to learn is that he needs to trust other people and trust that things will be okay. We have that whole scene in the whale. His nadir is literally in the belly of a whale, almost.
Jonah.
Yep. So that's really that really is him. Like he needs to learn to trust other fish to make the right decision every now and again. He needs to trust that everything will work out. Say, because he's just such a pessimist.
He is.
For no reason, Marlin.
I mean, he's clearly traumatized.
Yeah.
From watching his wife and 400 children die before his very eyes.
No, not before his eyes. He passed out like a wimp.
Still, though, he woke up and they weren't there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just that roar that cut to black and then waking up to everything being gone was
powerful. Filmmaking. Well, on to our next character.
Yes, let's talk about Nemo next. Film is named after him. I think he deserves a little.
He's a spirited little boy.
Yes, he is. He's very excited for his first day of school, and that definitely gets beaten out of him by the end of the movie. Once he learns what school really is.
Yeah. You and I would know since we both graduated from college at this point.
Yeah, we've been through school, Nemo. It's not fun.
Don't consider all the debt.
Do fish have currency?
In Shark Tale, they do. In Shark Tale, they do.
Well, we're not talking about that yet.
Not yet. I just felt it needed pointing out.
Yeah, Nemo starts off not really being afraid of the ocean. I think he gets that fear put into him by the time he's in the tank.
Well, yeah.
Because his arc in this movie is kind of, one, learning to respect his dad a little, because they have a real fracture in their relationship, but the other part is kind of like overcoming fear, because he's terrified to go in that filter.
Yeah. Dare I say one of the best like father-son relationships in film.
I mean, I think it's up there, but the relationship isn't really
fleshed out very much.
I wasn't even going to say fleshed out. Like, it's not really present for a lot of it because they're separated.
Yeah, true.
I mean, like, it's a great dynamic in the beginning, and in the end, it's just a case of they don't get to interact much. So there's only so much you can really say.
It's almost like there could have been a sequel that didn't involve spin-off side character type thing.
Almost.
I don't like Finding Dory very much.
We'll get to
We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, that really was a case of I feel like Andrew Stanton Like he has good ideas. The director
Oh,
and writer for this film.
he's fantastic. He's worked on so many great films. And
Yeah,
John
like
Carter.
and John Carter. John Carter. Uh, to just cover this, like Andrew Stanton, after making Wall-E, was pretty much looking to branch out from Pixar. He wanted to do live action, and I believe he read an interview. I read an interview, sorry, where he was kind of talking about it, how he's just getting old, and if he wants to keep making art for the rest of his life, he needs a faster turnaround than what animation provides at the moment.
Yeah. A Pixar film on average takes about 5 or 6 years to complete.
Yeah, and like he made the
Imagine that 5 or 6 years of your life working on one thing.
yeah, and like he's either in his 50s or 60s now, or probably 50s.
Yeah.
I think most of Pixar's old guard is in the 50s right now.
Because
But
when they worked on Toy Story, they were all pretty young.
yeah, but again, Toy Story was 24 years ago.
Oh, don't make me feel old.
So so yeah, it's just a case of Andrew Stan really wanted quicker turnarounds so he could just like make more art, and he got handed the project of John Carter, which was kicked around at Disney for so long. And you, it's going to be impossible almost to make a John Carter adaptation work just because of what that property is.
This was in that weird little period where Disney was trying their hand at potential franchises that weren't Pirates of the Caribbean. When they put out The Sorcerer's Apprentice, Tron Legacy, The Lone Ranger,
Tomorrowland.
Tomorrowland, even
Yeah.
before they acquired Star Wars or before they started development on The Force Awakens, Disney was trying to get big with a sci-fi fantasy franchise. None
And
of it panned out.
it makes
Cries
sense
in
that
Tron
they
Legacy fan.
yeah, and it makes sense that they tapped Andrew Stanton because his most recent movie before John Carter was Wall-E, which was a space movie.
Yeah.
Uh, but I have to say, it wasn't really one that was in his wheelhouse. I don't know if I can really pin down just between all his works what an Andrew Stanton movie is.
It's a grand scale.
Well, I mean, kind of, but that's such a generic thing. Like, if you take a look at the work of like uh, Brad Bird, for
Yeah.
the start, like he has a running theme of like exceptionally talented people who are very driven, who um, really feel held back by the world around them and have
By
to
society. Get Brad Bird to direct Joker 2.
yeah, like he has like all these things that keep reoccurring throughout his movies uh outside of Ghost Protocol, which he didn't write, so it makes sense there. But with Andrew Stanton, like, are there reoccurring ideas really? Because
I'm
previously
really not sure. We
previously he worked on A
discussed.
Bug's Life, and I mean A Bug's Life wasn't really similar to Finding Nemo, really.
Well, let's look at his filmography again, his writing filmography, just so we can get a feel for what all he's done.
So the Toy
Uh,
Stories,
he co-wrote all four.
yes, he co-wrote Monsters Inc. He co-wrote A Bug's
Bug's
Life,
Life.
and then he wrote Finding Nemo and Wall-E.
Yeah,
There's not much of a through line, at least not that I'm seeing on the surface level. Maybe by Wall-E, I'll know.
maybe.
Uh, yeah, we were talking about the character of Nemo.
Oh, we got off
We got
track.
off track.
Hey, good time.
Yeah, it's an interesting discussion. We can come back to characters in a sec because, like, now I really am just kind of wondering if Andrew Stanton is one of those guys who has a singular story that they just kind of make and remake throughout their career.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because there are a lot of directors like that. Like Alfred Hitchcock, obviously, Edgar Wright, Wes Anderson, Damien Chazelle. Um, yeah, I can name a lot of directors who just kind of make the same story over and over again, but with a fresh coat of paint. Not that that's a
Yeah,
bad thing.
Zack
It's just,
Snyder. I mean, it's true.
it's true. But with Andrew Stanton, and like maybe this is a really good thing that he branches out so much because Finding Nemo is a very different beast from A Bug's Life. Wally's different from both of them.
Yeah.
The only reason Finding Dory is similar is because he really was just making a cash grab sequel in order to save his career.
With a really funny recurring joke, might I add, that I laughed at in the theater and no one else did. But we'll get to that in a few weeks.
Yeah, but I mean, he really is very different, and I think I like the themes he explores in this movie the most. Because, like I was saying, it really is a film about like respecting people with disabilities.
Yeah, that's something kids really need to learn. Adults need to learn.
And kids with disabilities, I think, would probably really find a lot of inspiration in Nemo, who isn't held back.
No, not at all. I have family and close friends with disabilities, and since I was a child, I was raised not to see them differently. And I mean, this movie came out, when I was like maybe 7 or something. So I'm sure this would help some kids.
Oh yeah,
I had known
sure.
before then, but
Still helping kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, Nemo's disability, his little fin, it really ultimately doesn't hamper his ability to swim.
No.
Which is good because even though Marlon frets over it, like I was saying, like in the beginning, and when he's going off to school, he like mentions it to the teacher nonstop.
Yeah, Mr. Ray.
But it never really holds him back in the film. Even Gil points that out. So like Nemo's like, I have a bad fin, that's why I can't do this, and Gil's just like, never stop me.
Yeah.
Gil's such a cool dude.
Oh, he's a great. He's one of the good characters.
Yeah.
So we should go. Oh.
Sorry, I was just about to say a lot of like the fish tank characters mostly have like a gimmick.
They're one note.
Very much so, but not in a bad way.
No, not at all.
It's just Gil, out of all of them, has the most personality.
Yeah, he just looks cool too.
Oh yeah, his design's nice.
I don't know what kind of fish that is, but I want one.
I don't know off the top of my head.
They're all real fish. Like,
oh yeah,
they
yeah.
didn't make up a breed of fish for this, which is nice. They did their research.
Like I said, scanning dead clownfish with a different light.
Yeah.
So they could get it. They did the work.
They went the extra mile.
Yeah, just there's one big problem with every single design though.
What? The eyes?
Yeah, fish don't have eyebrows.
That's true. Well, they don't really have, the characters don't really have eyebrows. They just kind of.
Yeah, no, they have a brow. They don't have hair, but they have a brow that allows them to emote.
Yeah.
I mean,
need. Eyebrows are very important. This is coming from someone with big, massive eyebrows that make him look angry frequently when I'm not.
I'm honestly making a joke about the whole it being a problem thing because you need eyebrows to emote. I don't want this to be like Lion King 2019 where nobody has eyebrows and nobody can make emotions.
So I was in my local taco place the other day, like real Mexican tacos, on kind of the rougher side of town, and the 2019 Lion King was on the TV in there, and I was sitting and waiting on my tacos. I started watching, and I was like, "Wow, this doesn't look good." It's uncanny valley almost, despite going,
Yeah, I've seen that whole film now, and it was a big step back for animation.
Yeah, it's almost sad how well it did.
Yeah, Like I said, big step back. Unlike this movie, let's get back to Finding Nemo.
Indeed. It's a big step forward, might I add. A big
Yeah,
swim forward.
yeah. There were a lot of like not just the whole underwater aspect. There was a lot of things they were doing here that they didn't do too much in their previous films.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like with the anglerfish, the light source on that must have been a nightmare,
Oh, absolutely.
and they did it. And
Well,
they
that's the thing about this first little set of Pixar films. Each one built off the other and looks more impressive.
pretty much so.
I would say the stopping point is around like maybe Cars 2. That's not just in terms of quality. Uh,
I mean, I don't know. We might have to talk about this when we like get to those films, but I don't know if like Up or Toy Story 3 really pushed the animation envelope
yeah,
either.
yeah,
But back to this Pixar movie,
that's
where
right.
we still have one other main character to talk about, and that's Dory.
The Twitter account that steals tweets.
Yep. I'm pretty sure that whoever owns that Twitter account just like sees these tweets and then forgets that they weren't the person who made them.
It's almost like they're feigning short-term memory.
Yeah. But anyway, Dory in this movie is absolutely perfect.
Yep, the
I
definition
love,
of a good like comic relief side character.
I love Dory so much.
Isn't it kind of amazing that she's supposed to be annoying, but isn't like annoying?
She never was annoying, and part of that is she's more annoying to Marlon than she is to the audience, and that's
Yeah.
the best way to do an annoying character.
There's C-3PO annoying, and there's Jar Jar annoying.
Exactly.
Everyone wants 3PO to shut up, but he's still funny, and you want to hear him keep talking. And there's Jar Jar. He stepped into poopy.
Yep. Dory didn't step in the poopy though.
No,
Yeah, no,
she just kept swimming.
Yeah, Ellen DeGeneres' voice performance here was amazing.
Fantastic. It's
Like,
not one of those cases of, hey, let's cast super famous person in our animated film just to put their name on the poster. Unlike some studios. But that's the thing I admire about Pixar a lot is that they cast big names, but it suits the character. It's not, just say, hey, we have big celebrity. Hey, we have Tom Hanks in our movie. Hey, we have Billy Crystal in our movie. We have Ellen DeGeneres in our movie. We have Owen Wilson in our movie. It's to suit the character.
yeah, and I don't think anybody could have been so bubbly and cheerful and optimistic. Ellen just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah.
Like not to knock any of the other voice actors in this movie. I just think Ellen was operating at another level.
Yeah. And when you see Ellen, you just hear Dory's voice. It's one of those
Yeah,
like classic voice acting roles.
it true perfection there. There, we were talking the other day about Andrew Stanton's ability to write really quotable movies,
Yeah.
and I think this one is the most so.
Yeah. Fish are friends, not food.
Escape. That's funny. It's the same spelling as escape.
It's fantastic.
Oh, so good. And like, uh, so those are the big three.
We've got our tertiary characters.
Yeah, so we meet a lot of characters throughout the journey.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that really makes us feel different from other Pixar films, where in the past the core cast has either always been together or always comes along through every step of the journey.
Yeah.
Like with the Bug's Life, it wasn't a case of Flick like going into the city and meeting a bunch of different groups. He pretty much just ran into the circus bugs.
Yeah, and brought them with him.
Yeah. With Toy Story, it's like Even when they do meet side characters like fake Buzz, like joins the cast for a little while.
Yeah, the aliens.
Yeah, but here it really is a case of like the side characters are completely contained. It's almost like vignettes.
It's like a road trip movie almost. A
Very much.
sea trip movie. A life aquatic.
But no Steve Zissou in this one.
Nope. Could you imagine if they put Bill Murray in a Pixar movie?
Uh, it wouldn't be good. Bill Murray doesn't want to act anymore unless it's a Wes Anderson movie.
He's going to be in the new Ghostbusters, probably.
Yeah, he'll be in it. He won't act.
He'll just show up and be like, hey, I'm Bill Murray. Give me my paycheck.
Yep. Anyway,
Probably he's burnt out on Garfield.
he's still feeling that, I'm sure. But anyway, um, who would you say was your favorite group of side characters in this film? Because we have the tank fish.
I know
What?
we said they were kind of one note, but I do like the Tank Gang a lot.
Yeah. Um, there was Deb and Flo, which was a beautiful name pun.
Yeah,
Peach the starfish.
Bubbles,
Oh, Bubbles boy.
Bubble Bass.
Yep. Jacques the shrimp.
Obviously, a reference to Jacques Cousteau.
Yep. Yeah. Like the tank gang. Whenever the tank gang was on, like I had fun. It's just a case of like I can't remember half their names.
What's cool is that they're limited to one location, but yet they're all still funny and interesting.
Oh yeah. And it's probably because they get to do so much with the dentist office.
Yeah,
Like they've been there so long, they know all the dental terms, and they're just kind of like, "Oh, is it a root canal today?
yeah.
Oh, I didn't use the right drill." Yeah.
They're just watching it as if it were a TV show or like a sporting event. That's good comedy.
I think my favorite has to be the shark AA meeting,
Yeah,
because uh, Bruce is the best,
oh, he is.
just perfect.
Was he in the second one at all?
No, they didn't bring him back, and um, they did bring back Crush very briefly. Uh,
Very briefly.
Understandable, because Crush was great.
And he's voiced by Andrew Stanton.
Yeah, he is. Pixar directors just kind of do that, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
They'll just occasionally voice characters in their movies. But what's weird is like um, so many times, like the side characters kind of change the tone of the adventure. It's like the sharks really do introduce a lot more like horror
Mhm.
action, and then the sea turtles just kind of turn it into a surfer movie for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or actually, no, not really a surfer movie, more like a legit road trip movie because they are like basically on a sea highway the whole time.
Yeah.
And then you got Nigel, who kind of makes it an action movie briefly with his aerial dogfight.
Oh, that was great as well. We talk about the water, but there's a lot of on land.
Yeah, and they like the flying scenes too. Like, must have been a pain to get like the camera working for that.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Yeah, they brought out their A game for this movie.
And it pays off.
Yep. I'm just looking through my notes now. I'm trying to figure out. I want to make sure I hit everything I want to talk about, and there's just so much. I think I took more notes for this than any other film so far.
Probably because it's your favorite.
Well, no, I wouldn't even say this is my favorite Pixar movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it deeply, very deeply, but it may not even make the top five.
Uh-huh. I feel like at the end of this, we all need to rank from like.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. Should we rank them before Onward or after Onward?
No idea.
We'll figure it out. Anyway, yeah, as much as I love this one, like And even though I could talk about it forever, maybe not even top five material. That's just how good Pixar is.
Hmm. I mean, you're not wrong.
Anyway, one thing I really want to talk about is kind of the pacing of this film.
Yeah.
So, to me, this movie has always kind of felt perfectly paced. And
Yeah.
I think I finally cracked why that is this time around. And that's just whenever we're cutting from the A story to the B story, there's usually a cliffhanger, but it's never a cliffhanger in the sense of I'm trying to figure out the way to say this, but like it completes the full story of that section, like with the shark one. Like even though we're left on the cliffhanger of the explosion before we cut to Nemo, like that whole section of the film was pretty much done. Like there wasn't anything else they were going to do there or could do.
Yeah.
And by the time that's over, we move on to the anglerfish stuff in the deep. And same with
That's
like the
true.
jellies. Like we end on a cliffhanger there, but like that whole section was done, quote unquote.
I do enjoy the jellyfish sequence.
I think it also contains the best line in the movie. Uh, I shall call him Squishy, and he shall be mine, and he shall be my Squishy.
Absolutely.
Again,
Legendary.
so many great lines in this movie. And most of them are Dory lines.
Yeah, for sure.
Though the butt was pretty good too.
Nemo touched the butt.
He touched the butt. He didn't even touch. He slapped that butt.
Mm-hmm. He did indeed slap it.
Oh man. The, the comedy, not just the lines, the comedy is so perfectly timed. It's like I remember like during that sequence, like whenever we like the cutting between Marlin and Nemo, it's like don't do it, and then he just raises his fin. Don't do it. Gets a little closer. I'm warning you. Slap. It's so good. They really take the time to pace these things out.
Yeah.
And I think that is the case of just like how animated movies get made. Like you need to get the timing right before you even start animating it,
Yeah.
because otherwise you've just wasted thousands of dollars and man hours.
This movie was probably very expensive to make.
I'm gonna look up the budget right now because Pixar movies are infamously expensive. Like they are not cheap, and if they don't make like Marvel movie money, they're losing on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the budget for this was $94 million, but keep in mind that's 2003 money.
Yeah. Inflate it, and who knows what you get.
Well, let's see. We have the internet. Uh,
We have technology.
we're not cavemen. Let's see. I found an inflation calculator. Let's see if it works. 94 million. Yeah, that's about $131 million
Yeah.
in today's money. That's expensive. Oh boy, man. It is it is kind of amazing to think about all that money being poured into this at the time, like one relatively new studio working on mostly original IPs.
Yeah.
Like they had no idea this movie was going to be successful.
I
I'm sure
mean,
that
Michael Eisner thought it was going to fail.
yeah, like they took a lot of chances in their early days, for sure. And I mean, now the Pixar name is so strong that you'll make money just on the fact that it's a Pixar movie.
Yeah, and
and Disney will promote that.
parents who don't understand what movies are will take their kids to anything that's animated
Pretty much. Uh,
or anything with something they know on it, because there are reports of very young children at screenings of The Joker Baby, uh, which
yeah,
frustrates me on a few levels.
I don't think they know what rated R means.
And yet they complain that that they should rate these things. They should warn us. It's on the poster, or you can look it up online.
It's in the trailers.
Yeah, it's really not that hard.
I don't think anybody was complaining about Finding Nemo being PG though.
Was it PG?
Uh,
Wait,
they
no,
were.
no, no, no. The Incredibles was Pixar's first PG rated movie.
Wow, okay, you can get a G rating even after you murder 400 babies.
And there's visible on-screen blood in this movie.
Oh yeah, yeah, because something's got to set Bruce off. So let's give Dory a bloody nose.
Yeah,
It's
ratings
okay.
are weird.
It's okay because it was fish blood.
This is going to sound horrible, and I really hope people don't clip this out of context. Doug Walker was right about something.
Oh no.
He made a video a while back about how ratings are weird these days and how PG is like just kind of a useless rating. Or rather, they use it the wrong way.
I mean, all ratings are useless ratings at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, the main difference between PG and R, or PG-13 and R, is really how many F-bombs you use and a little bit of blood.
There should probably be some kind of intermediary.
Well, that's what PG-13 was supposed to
It's
be.
supposed to be, yeah.
It used
Temple
to
of
be
Doom
just
is what.
PG, and R.
Yeah.
And
You could
maybe
put, more uh, objectionable material in PG films.
yeah, and maybe because PG-13 was still kind of new back in 2003. Like it wasn't really a thing until the 90s, so
But like every big movie is just PG-13 now. For like
yeah.
massive appeal.
Well,
All
like
the Marvel films are PG-13.
well, what I'm trying to say is just that I think the reason this one probably got a G was because they were still getting into the flow of this new terrible format that they currently have.
Yeah.
So a few G's probably slipped in there more often than not.
Yeah.
And also they probably just go whatever when it comes to animation because I'm pretty sure the MPAA watches animated movies about as much as Oscar voters.
I was literally about to make that joke. You beat me by about 3.5 seconds. I mean, The Incredibles 2 is rated PG, and I'm pretty sure the words damn or hell are in it.
Yeah, there's some swearing.
People got really mad about that in a kid's film, but like it says on the poster, PG, violence and like mild language.
Yeah, uh, what? That's just people being dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was any outrage towards this movie though when it came out.
Probably not.
Because I mean,
There's not really anything. Well, there's some, like you said, some violence, fish violence.
400 babies die,
Yeah.
and no parent was all that upset. Yeah, the worst reaction to this movie was really everybody just going out and buying clownfish.
And flushing them down the toilet.
Well, some of that, but also just in general, like this is a movie about how you shouldn't keep fish in tanks,
Yeah.
and everybody just put fish in tanks.
Ooh, so cool. It's like, have you seen the meme of? I'll just show it to you. It's like someone completely missing the point of a thing and being like, "Oh, cool thing." Like Final Fantasy VII is a video game with very pronounced environmental, anti-capitalist themes, and some people are just like, "Oh, cool guy with a sword."
Yeah, um, I think kids media is most susceptible to that because
Well, yeah,
People just don't take it seriously. And like, this is a story about a father maturing as a parent. It's a story about um, people, characters with disabilities who overcome their limitations. It's a story about so many things,
yeah.
and people just buy clownfish and name them Nemo.
I am far less up in arms about Martin Scorsese's comments, Puff Daddy's comments on uh, the Marvel Cinematic Universe than I am with people not taking animation seriously. As
Yeah,
Pixar, Ghibli, and Into the Spider-Verse taught you people nothing.
you had to get that Into the Spider-Verse reference in there.
I
We,
did.
we
I did.
we can't go a podcast episode without it. So thank you.
I'm really just kind of rubbing it in, rubbing people's faces that both Disney and Pixar lost to Sony, the laughingstock of the film industry.
Yep.
The same studio that put out the Emoji Movie the year before.
Yeah. Sony has had such disparate quality, like highs and lows. Like at this point in Pixar's career, like they were extremely consistent.
They were on a roll.
Yeah, like even though I'm down on A Bug's Life most of the time, like the difference between A Bug's Life and Toy Story 2 is pretty vast, but nowhere
Yeah.
near as vast as Emoji Movie to Spider-Verse.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or
Like
something like Shrek 2 to Shark Tale. Those came out back to back.
it's nuts. And I mean, Pixar eventually reached a point where they were pretty high quality dips. Uh, Toy Story 3 to Cars 2 comes to mind.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like Cars, the first one. I think it's pretty all right.
Yeah, and I mean, we'll have to talk about Cars because I think,
Oh, we're 2 weeks away from that.
yeah, but I think that'll probably be our longest episode because we'll probably have a lot to say about the whole trilogy. Uh,
Yeah.
and John Lasseter himself because he's coming back for that one.
Yeah. Weird to think that he came back for that.
Yeah,
They
he
didn't
came back.
have any other bright ideas.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to read up on Lasseter's process for Cars because I'm fascinated about what made him do that.
The guy likes cars. I think his dad was like a car dealer or something.
Well,
He's just a car fanatic.
well, Miyazaki loves planes because his dad like made planes, but even his movie about planes isn't nearly uh, comparable to Cars.
Yeah, there's flying in several Miyazaki films, but
Every Miyazaki film.
yeah, you're right.
Boy loves to fly.
All right, we're getting off topic.
Yeah. Anyway, back to Finding Nemo. There is one thing that I am surprised that I have like never thought about this before, but I really wanted Gil and Marlin to meet,
Yeah,
and it's weird that they don't.
yeah,
Like they never share a single word outside. Maybe in the chaos of believing Nemo to be dead, maybe they were yelling in the general vicinity of each other at the same time about the same thing.
maybe.
But like, yeah, it's fascinating because like a big part of this movie is like parenthood and being a father figure, and like Gil and Marlon are the two father figures of this film,
Yeah,
and we don't like. It would have been interesting to see how they would have rubbed off on each other.
and plus, in previous Pixar films, the A group and the B group do eventually converge.
Yeah, and I mean they do here. Like Marlon and Dory meet Nigel.
Well, I'm talking more about the Tank Gang because in A Bug's Life, the circus bugs meet the other ants, and in Toy Story 2, Andy's toys meet the Roundup gang.
Yeah, it's not really comparable to here.
Yeah,
It just really serves to make those parts of the movie feel very separate.
yeah. It almost feels like a mini crossover when they meet.
It really does. And again, I really wish they had like been able to have a conversation about like I kind of wish like Marlin could have heard about all the things his son had done in the tank from Gil, the way
Yeah.
Nemo kind of heard about all the things Marlin had done through
Oh,
Nigel.
that's such a good scene. Yeah. So good. That music.
It really is. And like that's the thing that gives Nemo the courage to finally like pull off the plan
Yeah.
because
Just good
realize
storytelling right there.
because he gets so excited and then he's like, no way, that's my dad. And then, oh yeah, that's my dad. My dad's doing all this for me. I have to do something too. And
It inspires them.
it's so good. Oh, I love this movie.
Yeah.
I love this movie. Um, yeah, there are so many scenes like that are just really, really good.
Yeah.
I mean, I I think another one that kind of hit me a little harder this time than any other time I'd seen it was when Marlin, wakes up after the jellyfish and he sees Dory below, and like he sees the scar that she got
Yeah.
from the jellyfish. Like so many emotions at once were probably hitting him, and that serves as a reminder later that he needs to trust her because he did that to her, and
Yeah.
he can never fix that.
It's when he begins to care for her.
Yeah, because I mean, like they had fun before, they had survived a lot together, but I think that really was the moment that made Marlon go, I've been so obsessed with finding my son that I've kind of endangered this other person, a person who I kind of care about.
Yeah. It's almost like he begins to see her as another kid.
Well, I think he always viewed her as a child because she is so childlike.
Yeah.
I think I think with that moment he really started to view her as Dory,
Yeah. As her own being.
the fish.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what I really appreciate?
What?
Uh, like, there's never a hint of like romantic stuff between Marlon and Dory, and
Absolutely.
and there's never a moment where like other characters mistake them for a couple.
They're just friends. They just get along
Yeah,
with each other. And
like the closest thing might be when that school of fish like thought he was bothering her,
yeah.
and they were obviously trying to put the moves on her.
Yeah.
But like it was never explicitly stated, and I just kind of appreciate that a guy and a girl can be in a movie together and it's not romantic.
Yeah. And it carries on into the second one as well.
Yes, it does. Another nice thing about that. Uh,
They have a good dynamic.
they really do. It really is that just the clashing of the optimist and the pessimist, the adult and the kid, that really works. And I mean, Marlon's dynamic with Dory starts out so similar to his dynamic with his son.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before, it's really a case of like he doesn't respect her. He doesn't uh, particularly trust her, and he really has to grow to understand.
This is good storytelling.
Such good storytelling, and it baffles me that the guy who wrote and directed this did John Carter.
Maybe he wanted to go back to animation.
Maybe. I mean,
I really don't know what's on the docket for him up ahead.
Andrew Stanton has unfortunately pretty much been doing TV work lately. He directed some
Directed.
episodes of Stranger Things and of Better Call Saul, and I don't think he's really been on the radar outside of writing Toy Story 4.
Yeah. And I think they just need to bring him in because I believe I heard the first draft writers left. They abandoned that old draft. and brought in somebody they knew they could rely on.
I mean, I'm crossing my fingers, hoping Andrew Stanton gets to do something cool.
Original.
Yeah, soon. Uh, 'cause
Well,
we
I mean,
just,
Pete Docter is directing Soul, so, and Lee Unkrich directed Coco.
well, I mean, like, I don't even care if it's like animated or live action. I kind of hope that I don't want Finding Dory to be in vain.
Yeah.
It's like,
And even then, that's not a bad movie. I just don't like it very much.
with Finding Dory, it's like, it's obvious he did that to save his career. Like,
Yeah.
he needs to make $1 billion to make up for John Carter's massive flop.
Yeah.
And, like, now, like, he hasn't been able to do anything really since. And I'm hoping we see if he's able to pay off uh, pay off all the Finding Dory-ness.
Yeah.
I don't know. Even if he never directs another film or never gets to write another film, I think he's left a legacy.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Even if this was his only film, even if it was only Finding Nemo, like
He made the only good quadrilogy. He rewrote the only good quadrilogy. He made 2 of the best animated films of all time.
yeah, he
His
did,
episodes of Stranger Things were among the better ones.
yeah he genuinely deserves to be a legend, and it's kind of sucky that he doesn't get that status.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess back to more specific stuff from Finding Nemo. Um, let's see. Do you have anything you really wanted to talk about? Like, was there anything that jumped out at you during your rewatch?
I think. I don't know. The movie just drips atmosphere.
Oh yeah. I think this.
Food, water, atmosphere.
Oh man. I think this is the first time like Pixar has legitimately gone for wonder and has really accomplished it.
That's the word. That's what I was thinking of when we were discussing his style.
Okay.
WALL-E is a very wonderful film.
Yeah, and it's like, and like with this one, like all the shots of the big open ocean, like that makes me like want to go on an adventure. That makes me filled with wonder, you know?
Because when you
And,
think about it, the ocean and space are kind of similar. There are very undiscovered parts of the ocean on our Earth, whereas space is almost completely uncharted.
yeah, it maybe we have cracked the Andrew Stanton code faster than I expected to.
Yeah.
But anyway, the main thing I was like getting at here, like they definitely tried to go with wonder for A Bug's Life, and personally, I don't think it really clicked.
Well,
And
all the Pixar films so far, up to this point, are about the hidden world. A hidden
yeah,
world beyond what we know. What do toys do when we leave the room? What are bugs like? What are the monsters in your closet? And what are fish like under the ocean?
and I get all that. I'm just like I'm saying like there was never a moment in A Bug's Life where I like saw a massive like wide shot of a really interesting environment and was like, wow, that really I want to be there.
Yeah.
And it was definitely trying to do that, like especially like with the Bug City and stuff. I just don't think it really accomplished it, but I think Finding Nemo really did.
Yeah. It's good. It's really good.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess I should try to criticize this movie that I love.
But how, though?
There's one moment that I think was a little unnecessary.
Mm-hmm.
It was right after they saved all the fish in the big net from the boat, and like Marlin's like briefly worried over Nemo again because Nemo's under the rope net and he looks like he's dead.
Yeah.
And we just had a moment where Marlin thought Nemo was dead.
Yeah.
Like if there was one moment that felt a little too much, because we had already had like so many emotional climaxes in this journey. Like when Marlin just left Dory, like that was probably like the most devastating moment in this movie for me.
Yeah.
And when I was saying like Ellen's performance was so good, like this is part of what I meant. Like her whole monologue about how looking at Marlin makes her feel at home.
Yeah. Oh, that is good voice acting.
Yeah, and the animation sells it so hard. Uh, just and like that was like the emotional climax of that movie for me in a way. Even more so than Marlin reuniting with Nemo. Like just that moment where he's so broken that this other person that he's grown to care about, he's willing to leave because he wants to forget.
Yeah. There's a lot of fulfillment there.
Yeah, and I started crying. I'm not
Yeah.
ashamed to admit it. I was crying when Dory was crying.
Probably not the first or last time a Pixar film will do that for some people.
Oh yeah, they're so good at making you cry, and I will get emotionally devastated at some upcoming Pixar films for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, there were moments like that where the movie was so high, and then like I was saying, that moment where we thought Nemo was dead for a second time just felt like a little too much.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah. And if I had one more complaint, the whale scene where they're inside, like it's a very good scene. It's just uh, I don't know if it's the lighting and the color and the fact that the movie slows down, but I start to get a little bored when they're
Yeah.
hanging out in this one kind of dull location compared to everything else they've been to.
Yeah.
But yeah, that moment where Marlon lets go in the whale though redeems the whole thing. Like it
I
makes
would
it.
say so.
Right. So now I have to know, what is your favorite joke from this movie?
Cool.
Because this is probably Pixar's funniest movie at this point.
Yeah.
Partially because of Dory, but there's a lot of good stuff.
I'm obnoxious.
Those three kids were great.
Yeah.
Like, how do you be H2O intolerant when you're a fish?
Yeah.
That must be hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, for me, it's been this way since I was a little kid. But it's during the chase scene with Nigel, where they're running away from the seagulls, and after they get away, and all the seagulls just kind of burst through the sail, and then they just start screaming, "Mine, mine, mine!" again.
Oh, yeah.
I lost my shit at that when I was a kid, and I still lose my shit to it now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there was also one new joke I discovered that somehow I had never caught before.
What was it?
Very early in the film, when Marlin's talking with the other dads, one of them says, "Hey, you're out of the anemone," and he goes, "Shocking, I know." How did I never notice that pun before?
No idea.
And Marlin doesn't think he's funny. Like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness. Well, I'm trying to think of anything else, because I mean, there are scenes we didn't talk about and all, but I mean, most every scene in this movie is good.
Yeah. It really is. Shall we talk about the Kingdom Hearts world?
Yes.
Okay.
If they ever do make a Kingdom Hearts world for this, you know it's going to be called 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney.
Wait a minute. You're saying it doesn't?
It doesn't.
What if I've been lying this whole time?
Oh.
Okay, so Sora, Donald, and Goofy show up in the middle of the Great Ocean, noticing that their forms have changed to I think it's a Sora's a clownfish, Donald's an octopus, and Goofy is a turtle. And they come across Xehanort in some new form as a shark, and he's invaded the Heartless into the water, and they're turning the fish into Heartless. And I'm making this all up. I can't come up with anything good for it, but yeah, there's no Finding Nemo world yet. I was lying about lying.
You know, I know so little about Kingdom Hearts, and it all sounds like a jumbled mess to me that I was believing you for a moment.
That was the goal.
Oh my goodness. I feel like of all the worlds from Pixar that they could eventually make a Kingdom Hearts world out of, they're probably not going to do Finding Nemo
Probably not.
because it
There's
would
already
just
a Little Mermaid world.
yeah, so it would be too similar to that. It's just an underwater world.
Oh, but don't you know there's singing in the Little Mermaid world?
Of course, that was a musical.
But so were several other Disney movies, and there were no musical segments in Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna have to send you the Little Mermaid segments.
Okay. Oh. I mean, if there's ever a Kingdom Hearts world for another Pixar movie, it would probably be either inside Riley's head for the Inside Out, or
Yeah,
the Land of the Dead for Coco.
I'm pretty sure Coco is next because, not to spoil Kingdom Hearts 3 if people haven't played it, it ties in a lot with some of the themes of Coco.
And I mean, like that'd be such a great world for them to visit.
Would it'd be so beautiful to look at?
And don't you want to see Donald and Goofy as skeletons?
I get no, they'd be Alebrije.
Oh, yeah, they would.
Sora would probably be like face paint like Miguel, or not.
I mean,
It's
I
three
feel like
spoilers.
well, dang it, you've turned me into somewhat of a Kingdom Hearts nerd.
Unironically, I think you would like it.
I probably would. It's just a case of I have to choose what to invest my time in, and
Yeah, and yeah, I mean it's all on PS4 now. The whole series.
oh, good thing I don't have a PS4. I have a PS3.
Oh, wait. Most of them are on PS3 too.
Okay,
But yeah,
so
all right.
excuse.
You could just watch all the cutscenes and not play it, but
Or I could watch a Let's Play. I could be that guy.
that's true. There's a good Let's Play from YouTuber Frustrated Jacob. No, that's his main channel. Research Runs is a secondary channel where he does the Let's Plays. I highly recommend them if you've not watched them.
May have to check them out.
Yeah.
We managed to get onto Kingdom Hearts Let's Plays from Finding Nemo.
Yeah, and there's not even a Finding Nemo world.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like our most distant tangent yet, but it's probably up there.
It's fairly on topic, though.
Kingdom Hearts Let's Plays on topic for Finding Nemo.
All right, let's talk about Shark Tale.
Yeah, I guess we have to.
On this episode of Boy in the Moon, or What Are You Doing in My Swamp, a DreamWorks retrospective podcast.
You know what? It would be called "What Are You Doing in My Swamp?"
Yep, it's the most remembered line from the first movie they made. Wait, no. A line from Ants. Anyway, so Shark Tale is an animated movie by DreamWorks that takes place in under the water with Oscar, voiced by Will Smith. He's a lousy, no good fish who lies to everyone and says he slayed the shark.
Yeah, he accidentally causes the death of a shark who happens to be a mob boss's son.
Yep, it's like The Godfather, but underwater somehow.
Yeah, so
And
and
before he drew the ire of Twitter users such as StarkStan3000, Martin Scorsese voices Mr. Sykes, the pufferfish, also known as Puff Daddy or Whitefish.
oh my gosh.
How did they get Marty to do that? Rarely does he act in movies.
Probably the same way they got Jerry Seinfeld to do B movie.
Well, Jerry Seinfeld had the idea for B movie. He wrote it.
Exactly. Like this could only happen if Martin Scorsese had the idea for Shark Tale and
Hey,
accidentally.
let's make a movie about fish underwater, and it's a crime movie.
Yeah, it's a good old fashioned tale about sharks. We'll call it a Shark Tale.
Where Oscar says, "This is my tale, my shark tale."
Well, so Shark Tale was very much
Derivative.
very derivative. This is another. I think it was another situation where Katzenberg got a hold of some early notes for Finding Nemo, and and decided to make that DreamWorks' project. And since it ended up coming out a year after Finding Nemo instead of 2 weeks before, it's less of a forgotten rival and more of a knockoff film.
Yeah. Because no one talks about ants these days without comparing it to A Bug's Life.
Yeah, like
there's even a joke in The Office about it.
Yeah, it's insane how much ants is not talked about. But Shark Tale very much gets ridicule. I think it's really the lightning rod for a lot of DreamWorks hate because B movie is just a meme now.
Yeah.
And the
Shrek is almost a meme now.
Shrek is mostly a meme, but the franchise itself is just kind of dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you think about bad DreamWorks movies, like not Illumination style kids junk food movies like Home, but like an actual just awful movie by DreamWorks, you think of Shark Tale.
Yeah. Casting big name celebrities for no reason other than to put their name on a poster.
The character design to look
like them. Oh. This is yet another thing Doug Walker was right about, and I'm hating myself for saying it not even twice, but once.
Yeah. Most of the characters just look terrible in Shark Tale.
The lighting is very ugly. The animation is poor, even for 2004 when it came out.
Yeah, like it's insane that Shark Tale and Finding Nemo were made in the same decade.
Yeah.
And that is very much a testament to Pixar's greatness, the fact that their stuff looked so good to something that came out a year later.
Yeah.
It's still just nuts. Anyway, the plot of Shark Tale is much worse than the plot of Finding Nemo. Instead of a wonderfully emotionally poignant globe-trotting adventure about fatherhood and disabilities, you get a movie about a selfish asshole who screws over everyone in his life, pushes them away, or just treats them like dirt, and he wins in the end because he learns he shouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
The only good character was probably Lenny, the shark.
Well, everybody loves Jack Black.
Yeah. And he was eventually in a good DreamWorks movie, so it's okay.
Yes, 3 good DreamWorks movies.
Yeah. So, like, he was the only good character because he was pleasant and polite, and he wasn't a murderer.
Indeed.
Like I don't think there were any other good characters. Like not even the fish who is in love with Oscar, because the fact that she falls in love with Oscar means she's terrible.
That says a lot more about her than any of
Yeah.
her other actions, and she stands by him throughout. It doesn't. Most movies, by the end, she'd realize, "Hey, I'm too good for him," and he's a jerk.
You know, another reason why I love Missing Link so much is that it expertly subverts the tropes that Shark Tale follows to the letter.
Yeah,
Um, if you don't
man,
care about
Puff
like,
Daddy is my favorite character in this whole film.
oh yeah, but
Because, like, why is he even there?
but like I talked about how refreshing it was that like there was nothing romantic between Marlon and Dory, but
Yeah. Old Will Smith fish gets himself, yeah, caught it up into into a love triangle, which I love those. Those are my favorite, my
yeah,
big favorite.
it's just a case of wow, this really like the only thing motivating Oscar to do most of the shitty things he does is because he wants that.
Horrifying Angelina Jolie fish.
Yeah,
Thankfully, she ended up in a better DreamWorks movie as well.
yep. But like that's what motivates him, and it's not a motivation I care about at all.
Nope.
Like,
No, should not. Yeah.
like contrast how carefully Finding Nemo sets up like Marlin's character and how his motivations stem from his character. Like even his worst actions make absolute sense based on the kind of character they've constructed, and they're
Yeah.
sympathetic in a way.
Yeah.
And then look at Oscar, who is just a dick.
Yeah. I should also add how I like how Finding Nemo doesn't really have a villain.
Yeah. I mean, there are obstacles, quote unquote. There's
Yeah.
like there are antagonistic fish like the anglerfish and eventually Bruce. There's the looming threat of Darla and the fact that the dentist foils all their escape plans. But there's
Well,
never
in Toy Story, you couldn't really call Sid a villain. He's definitely an antagonist. In A Bug's Life, Hopper
I
was a
think it's
villain
fair
for
to
sure.
say Sid is a villain.
Yeah.
He acts very villainous.
Okay. True.
I mean, in A Bug's Life, you have Hopper.
Yeah.
In Toy Story 2, Prospector.
And
Um,
Zurg as like an antagonist, like an obstacle.
yeah. And
Monsters
then,
Inc. You have Randall and Water News.
yeah, I think this really is the first Pixar film that doesn't really have a villain.
Not only is there not a twist villain, there's not a villain.
Yeah, and I really like when a movie's able to do that. Like, there's just conflict from how big and scary the world is.
Yeah.
Versus Shark Tale, where everyone but Lenny and I guess maybe one other person is a villain.
Yeah. They got somehow they somehow got Robert De Niro to be in that film.
Probably Martin Scorsese probably roped him in.
I think you mean hooked him in. Because that's the level of comedy in that movie. It's just like fist puns and dated by now pop culture references.
Yeah, as opposed to timeless gags like the Mine Seagulls or everything with Dory.
Yeah.
Shark Tale just has.
It really is the poster child for like DreamWorks terribleness.
Finding Nemo even had smarter puns, like the shocking anemone
Yeah.
that I just discovered this time around. That was so
Yeah.
clever that even after over a decade of watching this movie, I only just now discovered it. Like that's how good that movie is. And then Shark
Yeah.
Tale.
But hey, at least it has the whale wash, which is basically literally just the car wash.
Working at the car wash. Whoa.
At least we got to hear that song a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, is there anything of merit in Shark Tale? Like, I struggled to criticize Finding Nemo, but I still found a few things to criticize. Is there anything you could praise about Shark Tale?
Uh,
The silence speaks volumes.
uh, I at least maybe a little bit admire how gutsy it was to make a gangster movie for kids. But even then, saying that out loud makes me realize how ridiculous I sound.
You know what? That's just DreamWorks Edge for you.
The same edge that Jeffrey Katzenberg so desired in the early 90s, which almost could have killed Pixar from before they even got started.
It is ridiculous. It really is.
They
You
get
know
into
what?
a horse
I can say,
race, and it's literally just seahorses.
yeah, I can say one positive thing about Shark Tale. Oscar gets hurt a lot in that movie.
Okay,
That
all
is
right.
that is satisfying when it happens.
Okay. I mean, I guess Jack Black is all right. I mean, it's Jack Black. I love Jack Black.
Lenny is the only good character in that movie,
Yeah.
as opposed to Finding Nemo, where there are no
Several.
bad characters. Even the one-note ones are still fine for what they are.
Yeah. And one note character is not, and it's not a bad thing inherently.
Yeah, I think Finding Nemo probably has some of the best one-note characters.
Yeah, if they fulfill the purpose they're needed for.
They make good jokes when they're needed, uh, and I mean, like, they're just cool dudes.
Yeah. There's not a whole lot going on with Crush the turtle, but he sure is a likable and memorable character.
I mean, there's even stuff going on with Crush, like his father advice to Marlin,
True.
like that. That's like legit, just good parenting right there.
Yeah.
I guess you would learn that after living for 150 years, but
Yeah. Oh, that's one thing too. They did their research.
yeah,
Sea
they
turtles
know
live very long lives.
they know more about the ocean than sandy plankton. That's for sure.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good little recurring
Yeah, I feel like they just took two names from
from
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. Yeah, I caught that when I was a kid. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
Sandy
Oh.
plankton. You think I would swim across the entire ocean and know more than sandy plankton?
Do
Uh,
you think we scratched the bottom of the barrel for this film?
okay, well, one more thing, just like the again with comparing it to like the past couple of Pixar films, like the actual ending, like the final moments.
It didn't warrant a sequel.
No, it didn't, but it was good. I mean, like the whole conflict of the movie started out from like Marlin being unable to let Nemo go to school. So, and even though the whole movie was about them getting back together, the fact that it ends with them, you know, separating, even if it's just temporary, like that's a that really shows growth on everyone's part, and I think it's great.
Yeah.
Like it's not as like emotionally poignant probably as Monsters Inc., which just makes you cry.
Yeah.
But this one does give you feels, and
Yeah,
it's very
absolutely.
nice.
It's a good movie. It was Pixar's first to win the Academy Award for Best Picture.
Yeah, because
Monsters Inc. lost to Shrek.
oh, it did.
It
Wait,
did.
oh, that's right. Because I thought it lost to Spirited Away. Because technically, Spirited Away came out the same year.
No, Spirited
It-
Away won the next year
yeah,
between.
that's the year it came to America.
Yeah.
So okay. Now I just
This is
kind of
back
feel
before
like
Pixar did a film every year.
yeah. Now I just feel bad because like I was thinking like, oh, it's okay that Monsters Inc. lost because it lost to one of the greatest animated films of all time.
Well,
And
it
then
did to Shrek.
look, the first Shrek is fun, but
It's not as good as Shrek 2, which
and
if we
it's
were doing a DreamWorks show, I would just that I love every second of Shrek 2. Like unironically, not just for the memes.
look, like I'm saying, Shrek 2 is a good movie. It's just Shrek 1 was not as good as Monsters Inc. and
Yeah. Oh, not at all.
none of them are as good as Finding Nemo.
Nope.
None of the Shrek movies. All right, well, I think we have legitimately covered this film as much as we can. It's
Gone to the bottom of the reef.
we have covered it all. We have gone into the deep ocean where it's super dark, and now we're being attacked by anglerfish. I think we have to cut it off here before we die.
Yeah. Before they cut our legs off with their teeth.
Oh man. Well, this has been To Infinity and Beyond. I've been Daniel,
And I've been Sharon.
and thank you for watching. We were a little late on this one. We're going to try to get The Incredibles out on time.
We have very busy lives right now.
Yes, we do. And unfortunately, like we're also going to try to schedule a bunch of guests for The Incredibles. So
It's our Avengers, our crossover.
a crossover that hasn't been set up at all. Like we said
So
last
you
week.
mean Justice League?
Like we said last week, it's our Justice League, and
Yeah.
it'll hopefully be better.
Release the Hudson cut.
Oh man, I'm gonna put that in the hashtag for the Incredibles podcast now.
Yep.
Okay.
The thumbnail should be me with my mustache removed.
I will start learning how to do that with Photoshop.
Just do it with MS Paint.
Okay, we should really stop now.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Finding Nemo good. Goodbye.
Bye.